So I want to talk about the funnel. And this is an analogy you've no doubt used. It's a really common analogy for the amount of leads that come in the top of your sales process compared to the amount of leads that leave your sales process as customers. And everybody's got a couple of these funnels laying around the house, so it's something that people can relate to, and I really like it. And I want to dig into it a little bit today, and I've got a slideshow that I put together along with my graphic designer that's really fun, that kind of illustrates the process. But what I want to do, along with illustrating the process, is also identify some of the places where people go wrong. And there's a renewed focus and a renewed intensity around prospecting. And I think that's really important. It's always been important, but it seems like so much attention is being placed on it. You've got roles created in organizations to do nothing but prospecting. With the amount of measurement and data that we get with our marketing because of the digital tools that we use, we can be so hyper-focused on reaching the right people that there has really been a magnifying glass on prospecting recently. But I think it's important to point out that if you're not doing the things at the middle and lower thirds of the funnel, then a lot of that top of funnel prospecting, that top of funnel work is going to waste. And I don't want to see that. Okay, so I want to run through this illustration with you. I want to point out some things that you could probably do a little bit better, and really just visually seeing something sometimes can really make an impact on how you see the work that you do, and that will make you more effective. So let's dig into that right now. So here's my kitchen funnel, right? And I love the way my designer wrote this all up and put this all together, okay? This is the funnel like you're aware of and you see all the time. And here are the new leads that go in the top, right? And we've got them coming from different sources. Sometimes they come from marketing. Sometimes they're inbound. Sometimes they come from trade shows. Sometimes they come from you just going out there and doing what you need to do as a champion sales rep and digging up new opportunities for yourself. Now, these new leads come into the top of the funnel, and ultimately, hopefully, about a third of them will exit the funnel as customers, right? And that's a pretty good batting average. Look, you go 1 for 3 every day in the major leagues for an extended period of time, you're going to make the Hall of Fame. If you can close 1 of 3 qualified deals, you're going to be pretty good. And you're depending on how you measure what a qualified lead is, or if you're measuring them at all, your close ratio may be more or less than that. But typically, I think it's fair one way or another. We can admit and agree to the fact that more leads are going to come in the top than are going to exit the bottom, and we can also recognize that there are holes in the funnel, right? That where do those 2 out of 3 leads go? Well, either they self-select out, they don't any longer have any interest in your product or your service or your solution, or you decide that they're not a good enough fit for you, or you recognize that they're kind of a jerk and you're not interested in working with them, or they recognize the same thing in you. Whatever it is, there are reasons that leads or prospects are selected out of the funnel. Either they self-select or you decide that they're no longer worthy of being a customer for you. And so we call these holes in the funnel and the leads that spill out, we call them leakage, or we call that leakage. We know that funnels are leaky. We don't expect this to be a cylinder. This is a funnel, right? So this is accepted and we can appreciate that. Now, given that we know that leads are leaking, and given that we know we still have a number of customers we need to have turn out through the bottom of this process, we add more leads. Well, sometimes people get carried away and they add too many leads. And if you recognize, there's only so much that can fit in a funnel. And if you're not clearing the bottom of the funnel, if you're not working people through a process, then they're either going to select themselves out of the process or they're going to block your entire funnel. And what happens is as you add more leads without creating room at the bottom, that lead or those leads, they spill off the top. And this spillage is waste. Why would you add more leads when you can't work them all the way through the process? And I've gotten this question before. Jeff, I'm supposed to be prospecting. How do I make time for discovery? Oh my gosh, you prioritize the stuff at the bottom of your funnel. If you're a good sales rep, you are going to prioritize the deals that are at the bottom of the funnel. And that doesn't mean that you stop adding new opportunities to the top of the funnel, but what it does mean is that in order to respect the opportunities that you're creating, you have to make sure there's room for them in your sales process to work all the way through to turn into customers. And this spillage is, I think, a bigger problem than a lot of people are willing to admit. And this comes along with approaching the low-hanging fruit and always going after opportunities that you hope can turn over really quickly so that you don't have to put them through a sales process, particularly a long and arduous sales process. And I think that's a bad strategy. I think that's a bad framework. I think you need to be aware of everything in your sales process as you move through it. And so I guess my question for you is, what are you doing along these lines? Do you have enough room in your funnel to add new leads? Knowing that you have to add new leads, are you creating room in the middle and lower thirds of your funnel for those leads that really are appropriate, that are good fits, that are ideal prospects for you, that you can put them through your selling process, you can assist them through their buying process? Because we like to talk about being a hunter and we like to talk about going out there and creating new opportunities. But if all you're doing is creating opportunities and not actually doing anything with them, what are you actually doing? So it's very important that there's a balance that exists in your sales process between opportunity creation and actually the prospects that you're able to work all the way through the process and turn them into customers. And so there's more to selling than just prospecting. There's certainly more to selling than just closing. There has to be a balance. There has to be some sort of an equilibrium there. Otherwise, what ends up at the end of it is just waste.